Welcome to another episode of the CrossCourt Cast. This is our second week broadcasting Big Ten tennis coverage on Cracked Racquets. So today we have two big matches for you. We have Northwestern Indiana and Iowa, Minnesota. Both of those matches will be kicking off this afternoon. We're going to start off with Northwestern Indiana. Two Big Ten matches that really are very exciting for many different reasons, because all four of these teams actually did not make the national indoors in Seattle. So we have a ton of exciting tennis. These teams, a lot at stake. They're really just trying to get a bid into the NCAA tournament at the end of this spring. So these matches are big into that. And with that said, let's go. All right, we are joined today by producer Richard Mai as well. So first time for him and I. Let's get it. All right, Richard, let's go to the court. So we're starting here with number one doubles. And on the number one doubles screen, you will see Christina Hand and Brianna Crowley from Northwestern. Brianna Crowley, a senior from Battleground, Indiana. She went 14-6 in singles and 17-4 in doubles last season. Won both doubles matches with partner Julie Brine in the NCAA tournament, including a 6-3 win over the nation's number 20 pair from Texas A&M. So this team is experienced. Christina Hand, also a senior from Morristown, New Jersey. 13-3 in singles, 13-5 in doubles in 2021. She won 12 straight singles matches to start the season, including wins from players from number 8 NC State and number 3 Texas. Big serve from Crowley there. For the hold, the Wildcats go up 1-love in number 1 doubles match. They're facing Laura Schneider and Sabi Nalani from Indiana. Nihalani is a transfer from Wake Forest, coming to join the Hoosiers as a graduate student. She went 7-4 at Wake, including 4-3 in ACC matches last season. She was the captain of the team for the 2020 through 2021 squad. Nihalani also played for the Junior Fed Cup Indian team for the U16. Very cool experience there. And she is joined at the 1 spot by Laura Schneider. Schneider, a redshirt sophomore from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. As a redshirt freshman, she went 19-7 in singles on the season, playing 9 matches at the number 1 spot. Big serve there from the Hoosiers. And so these double sets are first to 6 games, just 1 set. No ad scoring, of course, in college tennis. Double fault from Indiana now. These first 3 games in doubles are so important just to get yourself on the board, get established. Get those early double faults out early. So we're seeing the Hoosiers try to push the Wildcats back a little bit, really try to play a little bit of singles on the doubles court, looks like, from this Indiana team. Which makes sense, Crawley in hand to experienced doubles players. Big move there from the Wildcats. The Indiana coaches really just probably telling the Indiana team to hang in there these first few games, hang in there with the firepower of this Northwestern squad. Tough overhead miss there in the net from Indiana. That's big. Big backhand down the line, really just keeping the Northwestern Wildcats honest there at the net. That's the way to go really early in this match. Because Northwestern, again, looking to move at the net. They're looking for any opportunity. If you can just keep them honest with that backhand down the line, that's the way to go. Our first deuce point of this match. All right, Wildcats take a 2-love lead at the #1 singles spot. Now, new super producer, Richard Mai, let's go to the second doubles court now as we introduce all of the matches before getting into it here in the doubles point. And again, the first team to get 2 out of 3 of these doubles matches clinches the doubles point, putting 1 up on the board that you see on the left of your screen. Indiana team went for it there. Didn't quite connect with that poach. At the #2 double spot from Northwestern, we're going to see Justine Long and Sydney Pratt. Long, a sophomore, a transfer from Claremont McKenna, a Division III school out west in California. Long is from Hong Kong. It's a very interesting move up from Division III to Division I on this Northwestern Wildcats team. And deservedly so. Long was the ITA Division III National Rookie of the Year and an ITA All-American in singles and doubles, as well as the ITA West Region Rookie of the Year. So she was really the best in her conference, the best, perhaps one of the best in Division III. And during this changeover here, we will tell you a little bit about Long's partner, Sydney Pratt. Pratt, a sophomore from Glenville, Illinois, a little bit closer to Northwestern. Was a 5-star recruit ranked 35 nationally. Heading into college, she was 41-10. Not bad. We lost 10 matches in juniors. Not relatable. Again, this is Peri Sheinin on the call, joined by new super producer, Richard Mai. All right, we're back in action here at the number 2 double spot. Northwestern leads 2-1. Solid at the net there. Nice solid backhand volley. So we're seeing across the board Northwestern really establish themselves both at the baseline and at net. And in doubles, it's especially important for that baseline player to hit a nice deep ball to set up that net player, because as the net player, you can create as many opportunities as you want, but if you don't have that solid baseline ball coming from behind you, it's a lot harder to do that. Overcooked that one a little. And now on the far side of your screen, we'll introduce the Indiana team. Mila Medjic and Nicole Teterescu. Medjic, a redshirt junior from Subotica, Serbia. Went 13-15 in singles last season. She was 5-0 though at the number 5 singles spot. So a solid anchor here for the Hoosiers at the bottom of the lineup. Won 12 doubles matches as well last season. Hoosiers starting to put a little bit more pressure on this Wildcats team. And Medjic is joined by Teterescu, Nicole Teterescu from Italy. A freshman spending her first year here with this Indiana team. And that approach sails a little long. Tied at 30 all now. Crucial point really for the Wildcats if they want to keep the momentum in this match. And that one was just long. So the Wildcats needing to fight off a break point now to keep the lead. And a double fault from Pratt makes it 2-all. So number 2 doubles, 2-all. All right, Richard, what do you say? Let's go to number 3 doubles now. Check out all of the action. Again, we'll be introducing all of these matches. And the Hoosiers have taken an early lead on this number 3 doubles court. Hoosiers lead 3-love. 40-15 though for the Wildcats. And Northwestern gets on the board, trailing Indiana 3-1. So let's start with the team closest to you on your screen. Kylie Rabjohns, joined by Maria Shusharina for Northwestern. Rabjohn's a sophomore, also from Illinois, from Lake Forest. Back-to-back state champion in the 2A singles title from Illinois. All-state honors all 4 years. In high school tennis in Illinois, quite a high level. She was also a 5-star recruit. Her dad played hockey at Yale. I played tennis at Brown. Here we go. Ivy League represent. Love to hear it. Nice dip there on the backhand side from the Wildcats. Just not allowing the Hoosiers to get that advantage, even though the Hoosiers were both at net. And again, back to introducing this Northwestern team. Maria Shusharina, a junior from Moscow, Russia. Shusharina went 8-11 in singles, 5-7 in doubles in 2021. She competed primarily at the #1 singles position, so she has played at a very high level for this Wildcats team. Big overhead there. Northwestern storming back into this match. Down 3-2 now on the #3 doubles court. And again, during the changeover, we will introduce the Indiana team now. Alexandra Styklescu, joined by Rose Hugh. Rose Hugh, a redshirt junior from Beijing, China. Went 13-14 in singles, 7 wins in dual matches, 9 wins in doubles last season. Now, listen to this about Shu. She's been playing the violin for 13 years, and she has 6 degrees from the National Music Academy in China. So an avid tennis player and violinist. Not too bad. Shu joined by Alexander Styklescu. Styklescu from Bucharest, Romania, the redshirt junior. 14-13 in singles last season. 4 wins in Big Ten play. She played 18 dual matches at the #3 doubles spot, won 10-8 at that position. So all of a sudden, this match getting very contested here at the #3 spot. Northwestern starting to wear down the Iowa team from the baseline. Again, we're seeing Northwestern be super aggressive at net, so that's putting pressure on the Iowa baseline players. So we have 3-2 Iowa leads on the #2 and 3 double spots. Now, Richard, let's head back to the #1 double spot because Northwestern does have the lead on one court and pretty convincing 4-1 lead. So again, the set only to 6, 2 games away from winning one match in the overall doubles for the Wildcats. Again, this is Christina Hand and Brianna Crowley against Lara Schneider and Sabi Milani from Indiana. That just sails long. Indiana staying in it, trying to put that pressure on. And in doubles, really, at all 3 of these spots, the importance will be for Indiana to just stop that Northwestern Wildcats attack that we're seeing. The Wildcats just looking to move into net quickly, not give Indiana a moment to breathe at the baseline. Ooh, smoke that overhead. I'm sure Northwestern head coach Claire Pollard loves to see that. Claire Pollard in her 24th season at the helm of the Wildcats program. That is older than I am. Shout out to Coach Pollard. Looks like the Wildcats are just a little bit more solid than the Indiana team so far this match. Northwestern now with 3 chances to go up 5-1 in this match. And on the 2 and 3 double spots, still Indiana leads 3-2. Rip that forehand. Wildcats up 5-1 now, just 1 game away from grabbing this 1 doubles match over the Indiana team. Oh, and we have a little bit of a shift in momentum here on the 2 and 3 doubles courts. Now tied at 3-all on both. So Northwestern just clawing in, the Cats clawing to stay alive here on the 2 and 3 doubles courts. Inlets are now in play in college tennis. So the ball hits the net on that first or second serve. When it goes in, you play it. Nice forehand down the line there from Northwestern. And it's crazy for me to see Christina Hand out there. As a senior, her older sister Clarissa has already graduated from the Northwestern program, but both of the Hand girls, lovely players and lovely people. Good friends of mine from junior tennis. It's a nice serve +1 there from Northwestern. The hand serve out wide. Followed by the Crowley overhead. Now Wildcats only 3 points away from putting 1 on the Northwestern doubles scoreboard. Now again, that's not the overall score. Northwestern still would need 1 more match to clinch this doubles point. And on the 2 doubles court, Justine Long and Sydney Pratt have taken a 4-3 lead for Northwestern. Indiana set up that point well there. Just missed the swinger. And here we go, match point. Not so fast. Indiana stepping up there at net. Great reflexes. Schneider and Alani save 1 match point. The Cats still have 2 more. And make that 1 more. Indiana staying so tough now on these match points. In college tennis, match points mean nothing. I've said this on broadcast before. Match points, nothing. Your opponent will play doubly as well to stay in a match. Well, That match point meant something. And Northwestern taking the first set at number 1 doubles. All right, Richard, let's head to the number 2 doubles court. Northwestern now has the lead 4-3 on the 2 and 3 doubles positions. Throwing in some I formation there. Indiana 30 in this game. Again, Northwestern getting into net a little bit faster than Indiana there. And that on your screen is Northwestern assistant coach Elise Hamlin. This is her first season with the Cats. Also a player that I grew up with in New England tennis. She was an All-American for Duke and spent the past 2 seasons with the Yale Bulldogs. Pratt struggling with that serve a little bit. Some understandable nerves at the start of this match. Now it's triple break point for the Hoosiers. She saves 1. And checking in on the number 3 double spot. Rob Johns and Shusharina up 4-3 for Northwestern. The score remains. Pratt and Long staying alive. Hamlin most likely telling Pratt to take a little bit off that first serve this point. Just put the first serve in, get yourself in the point. And that return was out. A shift in momentum here. Triple break point down to now up 5-3. Wildcats now 1 game away from clinching the doubles point for Northwestern. Long playing smart there. Again, Long coming up from Claremont McKenna, from Division 3 to Division 1. Not a switch that you see a lot. Impressive from Long now, coming right in, playing 2 doubles for the Cats. Again, Pratt and Long, the sophomore duo, younger team for Northwestern. Now only 3 points away from clinching the doubles point. Meanwhile, in the number 3 doubles court, we are tied. So this is really up to Northwestern here to finish off this match, and that's not going to do it. Indiana, great screaming forehand down the line there. To put some baseline pressure on Northwestern. That's what you want to do if you're this Indiana team. Keep Northwestern guessing at the baseline, because once they're at net, these Wildcats, pretty ferocious up at net. Northwestern is 4-7 overall this season. Indiana is 8-3 on the year, so Indiana's won a lot more than the Wildcats. But again, Wildcats do have a higher ITA ranking. Northwestern is 63, while Indiana is 72. Again, though, this early in the season, it's often tough. Rankings are not always indicative of how high level or how much a team is struggling. It's always hard to know by one number on a paper. 30 all here on the number 2 doubles court. Smart from Long, testing that Indiana player at the net. That sets up match point for Northwestern, both on the number 2 doubles court and to take the doubles point for the Cats. Whoa, home run there from Sydney Pratt. Deuce point, Long will take it on the return. There we have it. Northwestern taking the doubles point over Indiana. In the first of 2 matches that we'll be showing you today here on Cracked Racquets CrossCourt Cast, Big Ten tennis coverage. Now we're going to take a little break as these cameras are set up, players getting out to their singles matches. So again, there will be 6 singles matches after that relatively short doubles point. Northwestern takes it. And if you get Welcome back to our cross-court coverage of Big Ten tennis. We're going to start now with the number 1 singles court. Northwestern took the doubles point, winning the number 1 doubles and number 2 doubles matches over Indiana. So we will start by introducing all of your singles matches here at IU Tennis Center. The number 1 spot for Northwestern is Maria Shusharina. Shusharina, the junior from Moscow, Russia. Shusharina 8-11 in singles, 5-7 in doubles in 2021. She spent most of that time at the number 1 doubles position, number 1 singles position rather, for the Cats. Shusharina 5-2 in doubles overall for Northwestern. Shusharina is playing Laura Schneider from Indiana. Schneider, redshirt sophomore from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Had quite a season as a redshirt freshman, going 19-7 in singles, playing 9 matches at that number 1 spot, 9 matches at the number 2 spot. Was an all Big Ten honoree. So Northwestern now only needs 3 of these 6 singles matches, whereas Indiana needs 4. And the way it works when you drop the doubles point is you need 4 quickly. Northwestern just needs 3. These singles matches are 2 out of 3 sets. Again, no ad scoring. And lets are played. So if the ball hits the net on the first or second serve, you have to play it. Seems like both of these players in a bit of a backhand battle to start off this first game. Schneider with 2 break points now. Shusharina controlling the point with that backhand side. Brings us to first game of the match and first deuce point of the match. Again, this is no ad, meaning whoever wins this point takes the opening game of this match. And first game goes to Laura Schneider and the Hoosiers. So again, we'll be introducing all these matches. So Richard, why don't we head to court 2 now? At this number 2 single spot, we have Justine Long taking on Sabi Nalani. And again, Long, a transfer from Claremont McKenna, Division III school in California, now joining the Division I Wildcats. Long hails from Hong Kong, joining the Cats after earning the ITA Division III National Rookie of the Year honors for Claremont McKenna, ITA All-American in singles and doubles. At Claremont McKenna, she was playing for the wonderful head coach, Dave Schwartz. Now listen to this. Long only lost 1 set in her 20 singles wins for Claremont McKenna. So there is something to be said for perhaps being a bigger fish in a smaller pond, hypothetically, and then stepping up into this Division I space, and Long having immediate success within the Wildcats lineup, making the number 2 double spot and number 2 single spot. So she was playing Division III tennis as also one of the top players at a tough Division I program. Long dropping the first game, though, to Sabi Nalani. Nalani spent her undergraduate years at Wake Forest the past 4 seasons. Nalani from New Delhi, India, finishing with a 7-4 singles record, 4-3 in ACC play for Wake Forest last season. Captained the 2020 through 2021 squad for the Demon Deacons. It's a great point there from Nalani, using that forehand short angle to set up that control ball. Forehand short angle to forehand down the line. Love to see it using the entire court here. And that sets up a deuce point, the number 2 single spot. Good tennis from Long. We've seen on the number 1 and 2 single spots for the Wildcats, both of these girls seemingly controlling points with that backhand side. So we'll watch for that today. We'll watch for perhaps this Northwestern team really looking to attack off that backhand wing. We're tied at 1 now, the number 2 single spot. We'll stay on this court, see who takes the early lead, and then we will continue introducing the rest of our singles matches here today at IU Tennis Center. Again, Northwestern Wildcats taking the first point in this overall match. First point being the doubles point. Northwestern taking wins at 1 and 2 double spots. And Nalani has played on one of the biggest stages in women's tennis, playing for the Junior Fed Cup Indian team. for the 16 and under team. It's many of our dreams growing up to represent our country, and it's a very cool opportunity for her. And Nolani with nice serve +1 there. Forehand slice out wide. First serve out wide, rather, and then forehand down the line. Gives the Hoosiers 30-15 lead in this game. It's a slugfest here on court 2. Both of these girls just hitting the tar off the ball. And again, this is a 5-minute warning. Warning for all of you, if you are getting sick of my voice, you can head over to SEC Plus or ESPN Plus, whichever you prefer, to watch my partner in crime, Alex Gruskin, calling some SEC tennis today. Again, that starts at noon Eastern time, less than 5 minutes away. We, of course, will continue to broadcast here, and we have another match starting here in 5 minutes as Iowa takes on Minnesota, another Big Ten women's tennis battle. And that will be the only other match that we'll be broadcasting today here in the Big Ten. Of course, we will have plenty of other tennis coming up for you in the coming weeks and months here on Cracked Racquets. That is ACC, rather, the ACC coverage. Thank you to Dalton Theineman, the wonderful president of Cracked Racquets. So yes, you can head over to ACC Plus, or ESPN Plus to watch the wonderful Alex Gruskin, who we may say is, at this point, the unequivocal king of college tennis. Just sails long there for Nolani. So it appears the scoreboard was a bit off. Nolani did not have a 2-1 lead. Now it's actually Long who takes the early 2-1 lead. Yep, there we go. Scoreboard just flipped. Now, Richard, let's head to court 3, number 3 singles between this Northwestern and Indiana team. And whoa, Christina Hand taking an early 4-love lead. Early and dominant, may we say, over Alexandra Staklescu. Christina Hand and her sister Clarissa Hand, a force in junior tennis. Again, great family on and off the court. Hand now only 2 points away from taking a 5-love lead here at the number 3 singles spot. Christina Hand, a senior from Morristown, New Jersey. She did go the Laurel Springs route for school before heading to Northwestern. And is also one heck of a doubles player, 2017 doubles bronze ball at Indoor Nationals with her sister, Clarissa. 2016 doubles gold ball at Hard Courts with Michigan senior, Andrea Sarden. And a gold ball with Katie McNally at Hard Courts. I remember that. I was there. I did not win a gold ball. They won the gold ball in that tournament. Katie McNally, obviously a big-time pro now. Her brother, John McNally, a product of the Ohio State men's program. Katie McNally opted to go right to the professional route. McNally having a long-time double stint with Coco Gauff. They were called McCoco. Love that name. Now on this number 3 singles court. 5 love for Christina Hand. Well, let's quickly chat for a minute about Alexandra Stajklescu before we continue to introduce all of these singles matches. Again, Northwestern taking the first point overall. You see Cats up 1 love in the upper left-hand corner of your screen. That was because the Cats won the doubles point. Stajklescu from Bucharest, Romania, a redshirt junior. As a sophomore, she was the winningest Hoosier on the singles court, grabbing 8 singles wins. Has also had success on the WTA Tour, 1187 in singles and 1071 in doubles. Some people spend their entire lives just trying to get 1 WTA point. She had a ranking in both singles and dubs before heading to Indiana. A biochemistry major at IU. Not an easy major, especially when you are a full-time student athlete as well. Now, Richard, let's head to the number 4 singles court here at IU Tennis Center. And here we're seeing the other half of Northwestern's number 1 double squad, Brianna Crowley. She's taking on Mija Mejic. Crowley, 3-2 lead in the first set. Now with 2 game points to make it 4-2. And there we go, 4-2. Well, perhaps, well, they are changing over now. So perhaps we're at 5-2, where they're at 5-2 or 4-3 for this Wildcat Brianna Crowley. Again, they would not be switching over on even number. I did study English at Brown, but I also have some simple math skills still. 4 + 2 is 6, so we would have to have an odd number for this changeover. Again, we will wait for this scoreboard to update. And Richard, let's actually head to court 5. We'll come back to 4 once these players are back on court. In number 5 singles, we have a player that we did not see in the doubles lineup for the Northwestern Wildcats. On the far side of your screen, that is Jennifer Reister. Reister, a first year from Linfield, Massachusetts, also taking the Laurel Spring School route. My younger sister is a freshman at Michigan, so she and Reister are the same year. Reister trails Nicole Teodorescu. 4-1. Teodorescu from Vendiglia, Italy. Reister grabs that first point over the Hoosiers. Reister, a 5-star recruit before heading to join the Wildcats. Teodorescu achieving a career high, 1470 in the WTA standings. Tied at 15. Here in the 5th game of this first set. Again, Nicole Teodorescu in the lead, 4-1. And it appears we have yet again, it's kind of like the lost years from Shakespeare. We have the lost games here on court 5 as well with the scoreboard. Again, they would not be switching at this very moment if the score were correct. So bear with us for a moment while the score is updated. Again, we have multiple sources that have not yet updated the score for us. Big thanks to PlaySite when they are able to update that score for us. So again, the scoreboard is frozen, but overall Northwestern taking the first point of this match. First team to 4 wins the overall match. Northwestern has 1 on the board from the doubles point. You know what? I do not think that's Jennifer Reister out there. I believe that is Kylie Rabjohns. Reister, quite a player from New England. But again, I do believe that that scoreboard is incorrect. I will get confirmation for you all shortly, but I do believe that is actually Rabjohns out there for Northwestern. Rabjohns is playing Nicole Teodorescu and is down 4-2. Serving to stay in the set. Rabjohns, a sophomore from Lake Forest, Illinois. Also a 5-star in juniors. Team MVP in high school, all 4 years. Again, Rabjohns comes from an Ivy family. Her dad played hockey at Yale. So what we're going to do is we're going to hang with this court number 5 until the end of this game. See if Nicole Teodorescu can take a 5-2 lead over what I believe is Kylie Rabjohns and not Jennifer Reister out there on number 5 singles court. Wow. Rabjohns, the athleticism. She got there so early on that lob, she even could have gone for the tweener. I'm sure head coach Claire Pollard was glad she did not go for the tweener. Again, Coach Pollard in her 24th season at the helm of this Northwestern program. Indiana led by head coach Ramiro Azcui in his 6th season, but his 30th season overall. He was 402-37 as an associate head coach for the Hoosiers. So Azcui, a known name as well in the college tennis coaching world. And it is 12 minutes after noon Eastern time here. So we do have our next match starting up. Iowa, Minnesota. And what we're going to do is we're going to do a split screen at the end of this game. Again, we'll see if Nicole Teodorescu can take a 5-2 lead here on the number 5 singles court. Actually, you know what we will do? Actually, Richard, what we'll do is we will introduce the number 6 singles court, and then we will do a split screen. We'll quickly introduce our number 6 singles players, and then we'll do a split screen. And at number 6, already have a set down, Kylie Rabjohns, it says. But she is on the far side of our screen here, so we can't confirm yet who it is. We're pretty sure, though, that Rabjohns is on the number 5 singles court. That could be New Englander Jennifer Reister. Could be. But let's start with Lauren Lemons, who is the closest to our screen. Lemons, a graduate student from Carmel, Indiana. She went from Big Ten to Big Ten. Played 4 seasons at Michigan State. She was named the team MVP her junior season. Academic all Big Ten. Putting the student in student athlete. Love to see it. Going 10-7 in singles, 10-5 in conference matches for Michigan State. Went 13-13 on the singles court this past season. And again, we know the doubles point is going on in our second match today. We're hoping to get confirmation of that number 6 singles player for the Cats. We might just have to head to a split screen. So again, hard to tell on that zoom a little bit. So that could be Sydney Pratt or Jennifer Reister, likely either one of those girls. Again, Kylie Rabjohns on the number 5 singles court for the Cats. All right, you know what? We are making progress in this doubles point. So, Richard, let's go split screen now. And actually, you know what? Let's go full screen. Let's go full screen, Minnesota Court 1. And let's introduce all of our doubles pairings here. Again, we will get that number 6 singles player for you from Northwestern in a little bit, but let's start off with this doubles. Indiana and Northwestern, we will be back 1 minute. Now let's introduce Iowa, Minnesota. Number 1 single spot. We have Zoe Wheel and Zainab Sirioglin from Minnesota, playing Vipasha Mehra and Diane Hayashida from Iowa. Now we don't have a scoreboard for you, but I do have scores live online, and I will go off those. We're tied at 2 now. The number 1 double spot. We'll start off by introducing the Iowa players. Vipasha Mehra, a junior from Calgary, Canada, who's number 45 in the country, with partner Anya Lamoureux after this fall season of play. She had quite a fall. Ranked first on the team in singles and doubles wins. Winning record of 7-4 in singles and 8-4 on the doubles court. A biology major for the Hawkeyes. Mehra, joined by Diane Hayashida. Hayashida, freshman from Lima, Peru. Hayashida was 110 in the ITF juniors, 953 in the WTA. Again, those are pretty high numbers for a junior. 110 in the ITF juniors. You have to win a lot of matches to get a ranking like that. And again, those are ITF International Tennis Federation tournaments. So those are all over the world. Next up, we will introduce our players from Minnesota. Zoe Wheel. from the University of Minnesota. Wheel, a graduate student. Zoe Wheel and I played a lot of the same junior tournaments growing up. That was at the national level. She is, after all, not from New England, from Columbus, Ohio, rather. Getting her master's in public policy at Minnesota. Now, before this, she was at the University of Washington. Going 5-1 in singles play, 11-3 in doubles play for the Huskies last season. Rather, for Minnesota this season, that was this fall, qualifying for the ITA National Fall Championship with her partner Annette Koskell. They ranked 44 in the ITA doubles ranking. So again, spending the past 4 seasons at the University of Washington. She played a large number of matches there for the Huskies, going 13-6 in singles play, 6-5 in dual matches. That was her record last spring. And Wheel partnered with Zeynep Sarıoğlan. Sarıoğlan from Ankara, Turkey, a junior. For the Minnesota Golden Gophers. Love the mascot. Shout out to Minnesota. It's not just a gopher, it's a golden gopher. Now Sarıoğlan in the lineup after going only 2-1 in singles play during the spring season. That was last spring for the Golden Gophers. Had an ITF Juniors ranking of 351. After representing Turkey 9 times at the European Winter and Summer Cups. Again, an honor to represent one's country on the tennis court. So we will keep you updated with the scores, since I know you all cannot see what the live score is on our number 1 doubles court. That is 3-2, 40 love now, Minnesota. So unfortunately, Minnesota did have to forfeit the number 3 doubles spot. So we only have doubles 1 and 2 going on. And it looks like the Iowa team hanging in there. Now Minnesota up 4-2 at the number 1 double spot. Now, Richard, let's head to the number 2 double spot, where we're also seeing a match that seems to be close to over. Again, the set to 6. Minnesota has 4 on the board on the number 1 court, whereas Iowa has 4 on the board on the number 2 court. Iowa up 4-1 in this match. Iowa's Marissa Schmidt, joined by Samantha Mannix on the number 2 double spot. Schmidt, a sophomore from Karlsruhe, Germany. Ranked 2nd on the squad and singles victories, and third in doubles wins this past fall, having 6 wins in the singles court and 4 wins in dubs. She is joined by Samantha Mannix. Mannix, 6-foot presence on the doubles court, 5th year from Elkhorn, Nebraska. Now listen to this. Mannix served as the Director of Marketing and PR for the Madison Keys Court of Dreams celebration of tennis in Charles City, Iowa. That was in July 2022. Now, that's very cool. Perhaps, like me, looking to stay in the sports world after her college tennis career. Love to see that. Now, a quick update since we do not have a live score for you on screen. Again, Iowa and Minnesota. Here on court 3, Iowa leads 4-2. So Minnesota staying in it. And now on the court 1 spot, Minnesota leads 4-3. So again, Iowa hanging in on court 1 rather. And here on court 2, Minnesota looking to hang in. That Minnesota team of Annette Koskell and Iva Schmitz. Again, we have Marissa Schmidt from Iowa on this court and Iva Schmitz from Minnesota. Similar last name, but opposing players here at the Hawkeye Tennis and Recreation Complex. Rather, Minnesota Tennis Complex. I'm sure the Hawkeyes wish that they were playing at home. And we just got word that Minnesota does not have a full roster of healthy players, unfortunately. So they will have to forfeit the number 6 spot too. Now, what is impressive about Minnesota is that they're 5-6 overall this year. And they're ranked 60 in the ITA rankings with not even a full roster of players that can play. I mean, that is very impressive to be a top 60 squad and not have all your players healthy. Not easy. Again, we're hoping that those Minnesota players get healthy as quickly as possible and can get back to court. But in the meantime, let's introduce those Minnesota players that are on the court right now. We will start with Annette Koskell. Koskell, a freshman from Tallinn, Estonia. She was 360 in the ITF Juniors before heading to join the Golden Gophers. And Koskell is joined by Iva Schmitz for Minnesota. Schmitz, again, a freshman. This is a young double squad. Freshman who, unlike me, is nearly 6 feet tall, 5'9", studying biochemistry from Landstuhl, Germany. And there we go. The Iowa team of Samantha Mannix and Marissa Schmidt now up 5-2. Now, Richard, let's jump back to court 1, because on court 1, this Minnesota team is edging towards victory, slowly but surely. Up 4-3, 30 love now against this Iowa squad. So again, this is unfortunate perhaps for Minnesota if this Minnesota team of Zoe Wheel and Zainab Sarioglin are able to capture this match. Unfortunately, they're going to have to rely on that 2 double spot because Again, Minnesota unable to forge a team for this 3 double spot. So Minnesota already down 1 love in this doubles point. So Minnesota having to win both of these matches. Golden Gophers are ahead on this court, but down 5-2 on the number 2 doubles court. Now this Indiana-Northwestern match, as Alex Gruskin says, is getting a little frisky. Again, Indiana taking 4 first sets against Northwestern. Northwestern did win the doubles point, but the Hoosiers are not going away at all. We will get back to that match momentarily after this doubles point is over here in Minnesota. And again, we would love to have live scoring for you on your screen, but unfortunately that is not possible at the moment. But instead, I will provide live scoring for you. Number 1 double spot right here. Minnesota up 4-3. Now earning a game point to take a 5-3 lead over this Iowa team. And meanwhile, Iowa just won the number 2 double spot, so Iowa on the board in this doubles point, but was also already on the board with the forfeited match, and there we go. Unfortunately, that is how the doubles point has to fall here in Minnesota. Again, Minnesota unable to have a number 3 double squad today, so they do drop the doubles point to Minnesota. And while these players are getting set up, Richard, let's hop on back over to our first match today, Northwestern Indiana, which is getting closer by the moment. Here we're starting on court 6. Whew. Wildcat ripper there with the backhand down the line. So again, we will get back to Iowa, Minnesota when those players are on the singles court. But again, this Wildcat, this unidentified, yet very successful Wildcat, this match up 6-1, 5 love, 30-15, only a few points away from getting 2 on the Wildcat scoreboard. We do believe that is Sydney Pratt on the far side. Again, not Kylie Robb-Jones. That is most likely Pratt. Match point now. Match point. And new super producer, Richard. Shout out to Richard Mai, already on it with the match point graphic. Thank you, Richard. Wow. Oh my gosh. That's a classic college tennis match point for you. Lauren Lemons. Way to stay in there. Staying aggressive. Making this Wildcat team hit a million balls to win that point, and still was not enough. 1 match point saved by this Hoosier. Lauren Lemons. She needs 2 more to hang in this match. That does it. Northwestern, 2 points on the board. Northwestern only needs 2 more matches, but that will not be easy. Now, Richard, let's head to number 3 singles. Again, number 3 singles here at IU Tennis Center, as Christina Hand has a 6-0, 4-3 lead over Alexandra Staiklescu. So again, we're seeing this path start to open up, this pathway to 4 that we like to talk about here at Cracked Racquets. We're starting to see that open up for this Northwestern team. But there's a big but there. Lara Schneider up 6-1, 3-0 at the number 1 single spot for Indiana. Sabi Nalani also taking the first set for Indiana at the 2 single spot. She's up 6-3, 1-love. Mila Mejic, 7-5 over Brianna Crowley in the first set. Up 1-love now in the second. And Nicole Teodorescu at 5 singles, also taking the first set. 6-2. Now she is down 3-love to this Northwestern team. So perhaps head coach Claire Pollard, again in her 24th season, is thinking maybe number 5 singles could be our answer. We'll have to see. That is if Christina Hand can close it out here against Teodorescu. Staiklescu, rather. Alexandra Staiklescu from Indiana. Hand now. 1 game away, up 5-3 against Staiklescu. Again, Christina Hand, senior from Morristown, New Jersey. 13-3 in singles. That's right, she only dropped 3 singles matches in 2021, 13-5 in doubles. Rolling off 12 singles matches in a row to start the season. And 5 straight doubles matches with her sister Clarissa. This is very nice. Coach Pollard has called Hand unassuming, intriguing, and full of ability. She says she goes about her craft quietly and deftly. I would agree with that. From our experience in junior tennis, again, Christina Hand, not a name that you want to see on the other side of the net in any draw. And wow, we are just getting word. Iowa. Wow, Iowa now has a 3-love lead. Minnesota forfeiting both the 5 and 6 single spots today. Very unfortunate for this Minnesota team. Team that was fighting hard in doubles, but again, a little tough one. You have to win 2 out of 3 doubles matches, and one of your doubles teams can't even play. Not easy. So again, 3-love Iowa. What we might have to do, Richard, is we might have to head back to this match. This Iowa-Minnesota match could be over very quickly here. But again, Iowa-Minnesota just starting out on singles, so what we'll do is we'll actually hang with this Northwestern Indiana team, because this also seems to be close to the finish line. Match point here for Hand. And she does it. 3 for the Wildcats. Now again, we're less than 2 hours into this match. Northwestern already has 3 on the board. But again, this could be a while. We'll have to see. This could be a while because, again, Indiana has the first sets on almost all of these other singles matches. So, Richard, you know what we'll do? Let's head to our number 5 singles spot. Let's head to number 5 singles at IU Tennis Center. And there we go. We have Northwestern is up 4-1 in the second set after dropping the first set. Now, this is the only match that we're seeing so far where Northwestern has a lead, at least in one set. Again, number 1 singles, Northwestern, down 6-1, 3-1. Number 2 singles, Northwestern, down 6-3, 1 love. Number 4 singles, Northwestern down 7-5, and it's tied at 1 in the second set. So let's hang with this number 5 singles match. Nicole Teodorescu, the lefty, closest to you on your screen for Indiana. Teodorescu just misses that forehand after the Wildcat ball grabs the line. So let's see now. Perhaps now it's 4-1. Let's see if the score updates for us. Again, thanks to PlaySite for updating the score when that is possible. But in the meantime, Richard, let's jump to court 1. Court 1 here at IU Tennis Center, where Laura Schneider is only 3 games away from putting the first point on the Indiana scoreboard. Again, that would be 1 for Indiana, but Indiana has a potential pathway to 4 here. This could be a 4-3 match. Again, less than 2 hours into this match, Northwestern up 3 love, but this is not indicative of the amount of pressure that is on all of these players here at IU Tennis Center. Again, Laura Schneider from Indiana taking on Maria Shusharina. Schneider leads 6-1, 3-1, 3 points away from taking a 4-1 lead now in the second set. And we can tell there, Shusharina slightly frustrated with that forehand miss. A little wide. Schneider with the 30-15 lead. Again, Laura Schneider, redshirt sophomore from Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Schneider has been a star for the Hoosiers since coming to Indiana, playing 9 matches at the number 1 single spot, going 19-7 overall last season as a redshirt freshman. So what we'll do is let's see if Schneider can pull away with this game. And we're going to stay here at Northwestern Indiana for a few more minutes. Schneider, little tight with that double fault. Schneider can feel the finish line approaching. Now, superstar Alex Gruskin and I have talked about the difficulty of closing out a tennis match, right? It's difficult as is in individual tennis, but once you put the team element in, when the pressure of the team is on your back, and you're just trying to get your team to stay in it. Again, Indiana just trying to stay in this. It's not an easy task to close out a match. And we find ourselves with the deuce point here at the #1 singles court. Again, Lara Schneider on your far side for Indiana, Maria Shusharina on the near side for Northwestern. Wow. These are good deuce points. Schneider now, only 2 games away from grabbing the win on the #1 singles court. Now Northwestern does lead Indiana, 3-love. But again, we have a number of matches, the other remaining matches, where Indiana took the first set. Now, new super producer Richard Mai, joined here by Peri Sheinin for Cracked Racquets. Now, Richard, would you mind bringing up, let's go a double box, if possible, if this is possible on your end. A double box with the Iowa-Minnesota #1 singles match. Fantastic. All right. So what we'll do is we're going to keep the Northwestern Indiana. We're going to keep that on your screen. And we're going to quickly introduce all of the singles matches going on here at the Minnesota-Iowa match. Again, Iowa leads 3-love. After only winning the doubles point, they lead 3-love. Sadly, Minnesota unable to put together a #3 doubles team or a 5 and 6 singles today against Iowa. And again, Big Ten tennis, not easy if you don't have your 5 and 6 players. But here at the #1 single spot, we will start introducing players. #1 for Minnesota is Annette Koskell. Annette Koskell, freshman from Tallinn, Estonia. Koskell, number 360 in the ITF Juniors before joining the Golden Gophers. She is taking on Marissa Schmidt of Iowa. Schmidt, a 5'9" sophomore from Karlsruhe, Germany. Schmidt was 601 in the ITF Juniors. And Schmidt with the early lead here, 2-1. Over Annette Koskell. And now, Richard, let's see if we can bring up court #2 for Minnesota, Iowa. Awesome. Producer Richard Mai, he is on it. Thank you, Richard. Now we're on court 2, where Zoe Wheel from Minnesota takes on Samantha Mannix from Iowa. Zoe Wheel, graduate student from Centennial High School in Columbus, Ohio, getting her master's in public policy from Minnesota, spent the past 4 seasons at the University of Washington, where Alex Gruskin and I were just at the University of Washington in beautiful Seattle for the ITA Indoor Nationals 2023 edition for the women. Again, where North Carolina Tar Heels become the 4-time champions, 4-time consecutive champions of that event. Tar Heels in the ACC. And speaking of the ACC, if you do want to catch ACC tennis, we also have that for you with the king of college tennis, the walking dictionary of college tennis. You know who he is, Alex Gruskin. You can go catch that on ACC Plus or ESPN Plus. He's on the call right now. And again, we will continue to have this Northwestern Indiana match and Iowa Minnesota match for you today here in the Big Ten. Starting off with just the women this weekend, but in the coming weeks, we will have women and men on this broadcast. So again, back to this number 2 single spot. Zoe Wheel from Minnesota, taking on Samantha Mannix from Iowa. Mannix, 6 foot tall, 5th year from Elkhorn, Nebraska. Mannix was 9 and 10 on the singles court at the number 1, 2, and 3 spots last season. She grabbed a win over number 43 ranked Iowa State opponent, 8 and 13 on the doubles court. Did post a perfect 4.0 GPA, so excelling in the classroom and on the court. That is Samantha Mannix from Iowa. And Iowa, led by the wonderful head coach, Marissa Schmidt, Sasha Schmidt, not Melissa. Again, no relation between those two Schmidts, although one Schmidt does play for Sasha Schmid. That is Schmid, there is no T in head coach Sasha's name. Apologies to Sasha, who is a wonderful person, her 7th season at the helm of Iowa. She and I have had lovely conversations about women's sports. Sasha, the voice of Her Keys podcast, Her Kais rather, a take on Hawkeyes for female athletes in the Iowa community. Big thanks to Coach Schmid for all of her work elevating female athletes. And now, Richard, let's hop onto the 3rd singles match here. 3rd singles match for Minnesota, Iowa. And again, we'll keep our eye on Northwestern, Indiana, as well as that match progresses. Again, Northwestern taking the first 3 points. However, Indiana in the lead from the number 1, number 2, number 4, and 5 singles courts. Northwestern crawling back in the second sets on 4 and 5 again. We'll have more for you on that match as soon as we introduce these 4 singles matches. Again, only 4 in progress here at Iowa, Minnesota, because unfortunately Minnesota having to default at the 5 and 6 singles spots. Not enough healthy players for the Golden Gophers, unfortunately. But let's talk about this 3 singles. Zainab Sarioglin from Minnesota. Sarioglin, a junior from Ankara, Turkey. Had not played a ton for the Golden Gophers, but now is finding herself in the lineup went 2-1 singles play during the spring season. This past spring, that is. Sarioglin taking on Vipasha Mehra from Iowa. Mehra from Calgary, Canada. Ranked 45 nationally on the doubles court with partner Anya Lamoureux after this fall. Again, Mehra leading the Hawkeyes in singles victories. 7-4 in singles and 8-4 in doubles after this fall play. Now again, I know we do not have a live score for you on your screen, so I will tell you that Zeynep Sarioglin rushed off to a 5-love lead in the first set over Mehra from Iowa. Now, again, Iowa's up 3-love. Has the 3-1 lead in the first set on the number 1 singles court, but is either trailing or tied in the other 3 singles matches. Now, let's head to the final singles match in play here, Iowa, Minnesota. Thank you, super producer Richard Mai. Doing a great job here. Court number 4. Iva Schmitz from Minnesota taking on Diane Hayashida from Iowa. Now we're tied at 2 here at the number 4 single spot. Iva Schmitz, 5'9" freshman from Landestall, Germany. What is she studying? Biochemistry. And listen to this. Schmitz grew up on a military base in Germany and was the salutatorian of her class. Again, Schmitz a standout in the classroom and on the tennis court. Schmitz taking on Diane Hayashida from Iowa. Hayashida, a freshman from Lima, Peru. So at this number 4 single spot, we find 2 freshmen. Again, tied at 2 freshmen. This is early on in their tennis careers at the college level. I remember my freshman year up round feeling a lot of pressure. It's a lot of pressure stepping out there. It's a big adjustment from individual tennis in juniors to now representing your team in college. Again, people have said that tennis is a lonely sport, and fortunately in college, at least for many of us, it is no longer as lonely of a sport. We have our teammates around us as we're competing, but again, that can also add a bit of pressure, especially for these 2 freshmen. So eyes on this match. We'll have to see which freshman can establish herself here. Solid ground strokes, really playing within herself. Alex and I have talked about that. Alex Gruskin, that is. If you want to catch ACC tennis, you can do that right now. Alex Gruskin has ACC tennis for you on ACC Plus, ESPN Plus, that is. But we have talked about how it's all about your freshman year. It's all about establishing yourself and playing within yourself and trusting yourself out there. Trusting that your game is good enough to compete at the highest level, Division I college tennis. All right, so Richard, let's hop back onto court number 3. Again, that's court number 3 for Iowa, Minnesota. As Sarioglin does lead 5-love. We'll wait for court 3. Here to update their scores online and Vipasha Mehra hanging into this set. It appears she has a game point to stay in the set again. Mehra trails Sarioglin 5-love, but has a game point here. And she hangs in. 5-1 now. Richard, let's go back to Iowa Northwestern. Quick full screen. Quick full screen for Iowa Northwestern if possible. Perfect here. Or Iowa Northwestern, rather, if possible. Northwestern Indiana, rather. Indiana. Apologies. Thank you, Richard. As Lara Schneider now. Up 5-2. Up 6-1, 5-2. Indiana, again, still has not put a match on the board. But let's check in with the scores across the board, because things are looking pretty close here. Pretty close here at IU Tennis Center. Again, we have Lara Schneider nearing the finish line on number 1 singles court. Sabi Nalani up 6-3, 3-2 against Justin Long on the number 2 singles court. Now at number 4 singles, we do have Brianna Crowley with the 5-2 lead in the second set, but she did drop the first set, 7-5, to Mila Medjic. Meanwhile, the number 5 singles match is just starting the third set. Bit of a tight forehand miss there from Shusharina. Again, Shusharina now 3 game points to hang in this match. Now, if you're head coach Claire Pollard or assistant coach Elise Hamlin for this Northwestern Wildcats team, right now you're telling Shusharina, just hang in there, just put as many balls in as you can. Because she's got to just stay out there, give her teammates a chance to finish the matches. Because again, Northwestern trailing on the other courts, trailing or tied on the other courts that are still in progress here. Indiana needs 4. Northwestern just needs 1. But we might be a far way away from that 1. Again, we'll go back to Iowa, Minnesota momentarily, but we just want to see if Lara Schneider can close out this match against Maria Shusharina at the 1 spot. Well, that brings up a match point. Match point for Lara Schneider. Thank you. New super producer Richard Mine with the match point graphic. Can Indiana get 1 on the board? Hoosiers just battling here at home. That's not gonna do it. Not gonna do it for Lara Schneider. Playing a little too passive there. Again, I feel like there are two types of slices that you can hit on a match point. There's the slice that stays low to the net, and you're hitting it aggressively, high racket head speed, or a bit of the floater slice. It's, as I like to call it, the slice and pray. That was a bit of what we saw there from Lara Schneider, just hoping for a Shusharina miss, but not going to come on match point. Shusharina trying to stay aggressive, a little inconsistent there from both wings on the baseline, giving Lara Schneider now 15-love advantage. Again, Schneider up 6-1, 5-3. That's big. We're seeing why Shusharina plays one for the Wildcats. Has been a bit streaky, maybe a bit off kilter this match, perhaps, with a few unforced errors, but we do see when Shusharina is stepping into the ball. Whew. Her opponent better watch out. 15-all now. And shout out to Lara Schneider. Just doing a great job anchoring down the fort at the baseline. Keeping the ball nice and deep, putting that consistent pressure on Shusharina. Again, another miss from the Wildcats at number 1. Schneider now. 2 points away. There's Northwestern head coach Claire Pollard. Again, her 24th season at the helm. Pollard, 476 and 152 overall for Northwestern. Under Pollard, the Cats won 13 straight Big Ten titles from 1999 to 2011. Growing up, Northwestern was the queen of the Big Ten for me as a young player. Until, of course, now Michigan, Ohio State this season have gone to a different level of college tennis in the Big Ten. Hard-hitting tennis here on court 1. Oof. Did that clip the line? Let's see. There is chair umpire here on court 1, as there is on all of the singles courts. And wow, that gives Schneider 4 opportunities to win this match. Schneider up 40-15 now. 5-3, 40-15. Can we get that match point graphic? Wow. Maria Shusharina says, 1 second, I'm not going anywhere. Lara Schneider. Shusharina just defending match points like it's her full-time job. Which, as a student athlete, it kind of is. Lara Schneider, another chance to put 1 on the Indiana scoreboard. Oh, that just sails wide. And Lara Schneider puts one on the Indiana scoreboard. It has not been easy against Maria Shusharina. But now Indiana, 1-3, trailing Northwestern. Now again, let's check in here. Richard, if possible, could we go split screen and head back to this Iowa-Minnesota match? Let's go to court number 2. Court number 2, Iowa, Minnesota. Zoe Wheel taking on Samantha Mannix. Perfect. Or actually, rather, yeah, that's fine. Let's do that. Right, Wheel and Mannix. Mannix from Iowa leads 5-2. Now listen to this, though. Minnesota battling. Iowa up 4-3 in the number 1 single spot. Iowa up 5-2, the number 2 single spot. And Iowa up 4-3, the number 4 single spot. So Iowa has a lot of pathways to 4 here. It's going to be tough for Minnesota today. This is the only space, this number 3 single spot is the only space where Minnesota is ahead. Again, Minnesota's Zeynep Sarioglin takes the first at 6-1, up 1-love in the second. Meanwhile, for Indiana Northwestern, let's keep a current match going on there for you as well. Indiana Northwestern. Let's head to our number 4 singles. We haven't checked in with number 4 singles in a minute. Thank you, Richard. Again, at the number 4 single spot, Brianna Crowley playing Mila Medjic. Crowley up 1-love in the third set. Dropping the first set 7-5, but rushing back with a 6-2 1-love lead now in this match. And again, checking in with Northwestern number 5 singles. Our number 5 singles player from the Wildcats, also up 1-love in the third set after dropping the first and winning the second. And actually, you know what, Richard? Indiana has the chance to now put 2 on the board. Close to it. Not quite the chance, but let's actually hop over to the number 2 singles court for Indiana Northwestern. Number 2 singles, if that's possible. Perfect. Because here we're seeing Sabi Nalani up 6-3, 4-3 against Justine Long. Nalani now only 2 games away from making this a 3-2 match. Again, folks, Big Ten tennis. This is where it's at. And if you disagree, you say ACC tennis is where it's at. Check out the king of college tennis, Alex Gruskin. He'll be calling ACC tennis all day today on ESPN+. You can go check out his commentary of these matches as well. We'll have Big Ten tennis here for Cracked Racquets. These 2 matches for you as long as they last will be here. Again, Justine Long now looking to hang in this match. And we know there is no live scoring for you on the right side of your screen for this Minnesota-Iowa match, so we will update you manually. Court 2, Samantha Mannix takes the first set 6-2. We were in the first game of the second set. You know what, Richard? Let's actually hop over to Court 4, Iowa, Minnesota. Court 4, Iowa, Minnesota, because we are tied 4-all in the first set. And again, the Golden Gophers unfortunately not able to put together a 5 and a 6 player that are healthy today. Had to forfeit those matches along with the number 3 double spot. The Golden Gophers, the players that are healthy are fighting for the squad. Again, we're tied 4-all now in the first set on this number 4 singles court. Iva Schmitz, the freshman, taking on Diane Hayashida, the freshman. Take a look at this point. Court 2. Wow. That is good tennis. Good tennis here. All around, Indiana Northwestern battling at the 2 spot. Again, the Indiana coach is Ramiro Azcui and assistant coach Austin Robeck. Robeck's first season as the assistant coach with the Hoosiers. He was at Georgia Tech for the past 2 seasons after playing for the Yellow Jackets. And it's 4-all. 4-all on Court 2. Justin Long saying, let's make this a long match, shall we? Checking back in with Court 4 here at Minnesota, Iowa. Again, Hawkeyes lead 3-0. For all. A point for Diane Hayashida to take a 5-4 lead. Game point, break point for Hayashida. And now it's a deuce point. Deuce point. Number 4 singles between the freshmen, tied 4-all in the first set. Or rather, apologies, deuce point is now Score is a little lagged here on your screen. Deuce point now between the freshmen. There we go. Playing with guts out here. Lefty swing volley down the line. Teach me. And you know what? It appears the online scoreboard is frozen as well. So that was a very high level point. We are figuring out where in the game that was. Again, these two freshmen are tied at 4-all, we believe, the number 4 singles court. Diana Hayashida taking on Iva Schmitz. Meanwhile, Justine Long battling for the Wildcats, battling to stay in it at this number 2 single spot for Indiana Northwestern. And Long knows what's at stake, because even though the Wildcats are up 3-1, it's going to be a long way to the finish line for them. Again, Sabi Nalani leads Long 6-3. It's 4-all now in the second set. And you know what, Richard? Really quickly, let's go to 4 singles for Northwestern Indiana. 4 singles. Brianna Crowley has now roared off to a 4-love lead in the third set over Mila Medjic. And this might be over quicker than we think. Again, this is the simplest path for Northwestern, 2-4. Crowley finds herself 2 games away from taking this match. Now let's go full screen, if possible, Richard. We will get back to the Minnesota-Iowa match, but let's go full screen on this number 4 singles match for Northwestern. All right, now Crowley up 4-1 against Mila Medjic. So again, let's go over the overall scores. Let's see how close Northwestern really is to finishing this match. Now, you know what, Richard? Let's go double box. Let's go double box really quickly to number 2 singles. Number 2 singles at Northwestern Indiana, because Sabi Nalani for Indiana about to put a 2nd point on the Indiana scoreboard. Again, 2 singles if possible for Northwestern Indiana. Fantastic. And now, meanwhile, Apologies just got confirmation that number 5 singles for Northwestern is in fact Jennifer Reister. Reister is out there for Northwestern. And it was Kylie Rabjohns at 6, taking the 6-1, 6-0 win for the Cats. Let's take a look at number 4 singles. And Richard, if possible, let's actually stay within the same match here. So let's go to court number 2 for Indiana Northwestern on the right side of our screen. So we'll have 2 Indiana Northwestern matches up at the same time. Again, Brianna Crowley, the 4-1 lead for Northwestern. And again now, Sabi Nalani. Match point at the 2 singles spot. Perfect. Could we go full screen? Richard, could we go full screen for number 2 singles here, Indiana Northwestern? Full screen, number 2 singles. Perfect. And there we go. We caught it. The tail end of the match point, that is. Indiana now down 3-2. Sabi Nalani puts the Hoosiers within 1 point of the Wildcats. All right, now, Richard, really quickly, let's hop on back to the number 4 singles. Again, 4 singles for Northwestern Indiana. Brianna Crowley now with the chance to go up 5-1 against Mila Medjic at the 4 singles spot. And she does. 1 game away. Can Crowley get the Cats to the finish line? Again, on the other courts, we're tied at 2 in the 3rd set, the number 5 single spot. And you know what? All the other matches are over. Again, Northwestern up 3-2. Crowley with a demanding 5-1 lead. Can Medjic dig herself back out? Can she keep it going? And again, we are nearing the finish line of one of the matches for Iowa, Minnesota. Court number 3, Minnesota. Looking to get on the board, up 6-1, 3-1. We will get back to that momentarily. But in the meantime, let's see. Brianna Crowley can clinch this match for the Cats. Again, Crowley facing Mila Medjic. There we go. Crowley just grinding her down. But you know what? Actually, Magic takes that point. So Magic hangs in there for the Hoosiers. Magic down 5-2 in the third set to Crowley. Again, Crowley, the closest of any of the Wildcats to currently getting Northwestern to 4 because, again, we are tied at 2-all in the third set at this 5-single spot. That is Jennifer Reister playing Nicole Teodescu. And you know what, Richard? Let's do a split screen. Yeah, let's do a split screen for court 4. Court 4, the one that you currently have on the screen. Correct. Oh, you read my mind. That's exactly what I was going to say. Samantha Mannix takes the first set 6-2. We're at 1-all in the second set with Iowa, Minnesota. And as we spoke, Diane Hayashida for Iowa did also take a first set. 6-4 off Iva Schmitz. Again, the battle of the freshmen at 4 singles. So Iowa really opening up their pathway to 4 as well. And again, we will wait for the score to reset here. Crowley and Magic just starting this 5-1 game, I believe, unless this has been the fastest game in the history of tennis, which it may have been. Let's just wait for the score to reset here. And Crowley Magic, we would not want to miss a match point. And I do believe we're early on, right? We're early on in this game. Crowley has not won this match yet, although she, of course, wishes that she has. We'll see if that wish becomes a reality in just a few moments as we wait for this score to update. Again, we thank PlaySite for updating that as soon as possible, so we can bring you the match point if and when it happens. You know what? Let's just go full screen, Richard. Let's go full screen on 4, since we are not exactly sure what the game score is. Full screen on 4. Thank you. And again, ignore that scoreboard in the lower left-hand corner. We are up 5-1 Northwestern in the third set, but this game is still in progress. And again, Jennifer Reister up 3-2 for Northwestern over Nicole Teodescu on the number 5 single spot. Again, Northwestern led by head coach Claire Pollard in her 24th season, assistant coach Elise Hamlin in her first season with the Wildcats. Hamlin, standout at Duke, All-American for the Blue Devils. Meanwhile, Indiana, led by Ramiro Azcui, his 30th overall season with the Hoosiers. Mila Medjic hanging in there, digging deep. And you know what let's do? Richard, let's do a quick split screen. quick split screen here. Just want to make sure that we don't miss any match points here. Let's go to court 3, Richard. Court 3 for Iowa, Minnesota. And again, we will make this a full Iowa, Minnesota if needed, but right now we have 2 matches nearing the finish line. Not quite there. Again, waiting for that scoreboard to update for the number 4 singles match. Crowley facing Medjic. You know what, Richard? Let's hop on that full screen again for court 4. I can smell that this match is almost over. Let's see if my intuitions are correct. Wow, look at the depth. Whew. Check out this Hoosier fight. And now also check out how the trajectory of the ball has changed on this number 4 singles court. Both of these players capable of swinging hard, swinging fast, but they're still swinging quickly, but now the ball's a lot higher over the net. They're giving themselves higher percentage tennis. Again, more room for error. You want room for error here. You don't want to be going for lines at this point in a match. You just want to be pushing your opponent back like they're doing. We saw in the point before, the players almost into the backdrop. That's how deep and high and heavy these balls are that they're hitting. Oh, wow. The let cord favoring the Cats at the right moment. We see Claire Pollard there on the side, breathing a sigh of relief. Elise Hamlin right in there. Now again, we're waiting for the score to update. So while they're on the changeover, let's hop on over to 5 singles, Richard. Again, full screen 5 singles for the Cats. Let's see if these players are back on court. Jennifer Reister up 4-3 over Nicole Teodorescu in the 3rd set. And you know what? Let's do a split screen as we're doing this. Let's do a split screen with court 3, Iowa, Minnesota. Court 3, Iowa, Minnesota. Again, Minnesota's Zainab Sarioglin up 6-1, 4-3 against Vipasha Mehra as she tries to put 1 on the Minnesota scoreboard. Now again, we do have a bit of a frozen scoreboard here for Iowa Northwestern. We are doing our best to confirm the updated scores. And it appears via Twitter that Northwestern has won this match. Brianna has won this match. 5-7, 6-2, 6-1 over Mila Medjic. Northwestern takes the match 4-2. So Richard, let's now go full screen on Minnesota, Iowa. And apologies for that delayed scoreboard, but you know what? Northwestern not apologizing to anyone today. Wildcats take the win, 4-2, escaping over a frisky Indiana team. Northwestern again taking the win 4-2, taking the doubles point and grabbing three singles wins rather, for the overall team win. And now we are checking out Zainab Sarioglin from Minnesota. She fights for the Golden Gophers, looking to just put one on the board. Again, Iowa taking the first set and all the other three singles matches. Unfortunately, Minnesota, if you were just joining us, Minnesota unable to have healthy singles players at 5 and 6. They had to forfeit those matches and had to forfeit number 3 double spot against a tough Iowa lineup. Again, Iowa led by the wonderful head coach, Sasha Schmid, assistant coach, Elise Van Hjelven Treadwell, first season. Elise was the second all-time winningest player at Iowa, graduating in 2021. Returning to coach at her alma mater. Something we love to see. Minnesota, led by head coach Katrina Thompson. Thompson in her 6th season at the helm. Previous 3 seasons she spent as an assistant at Notre Dame. Notre Dame was Thompson's alma mater. She was a 3-time All-American with her sister at Notre Dame. But again, back to Minnesota, the assistant coach, John Kononov, first season at the helm. John spent the past 3 seasons at Pepperdine. Ended up finishing his playing career at the University of San Diego, where he helped lead the team to a top 20 ranking in the country. But again, as an update now, Sarioglin from Minnesota up 4-3 in this second set, after taking the first set 6-1 over Vipasha Mehra from Iowa. And you know what, Richard? Since we have the double box, let's use it. All right, let's see here. Let's go to court 2 as well. Court 2 as well for Minnesota, Iowa. Because Minnesota is just showing the fight. Very impressive fight from a team that is undermanned today. Zoe Wheel from Minnesota dropping the first set 6-2 to Samantha Mannix, but fighting up 3-2 in the second set. Again, Richard, if it's possible to do a double box for the same match, that would be awesome. If not, we'll just go back full screen to court 3. Again, Northwestern did take that 4-2 win over Indiana. Awesome. Thank you, Richard. We will stay on court 3. As again, this is the closest match to finishing at this very moment, with Minnesota looking to put 1 on the Golden Gophers scoreboard. Now Minnesota, although they are down at least 2 players due to injury, Minnesota has won 5 matches this spring. They're 5 and 6 overall. They're ranked top 60 in the ITA rankings. So this Golden Gophers team, the players that are healthy, they are fighting. But again, not easy to do against a frisky Iowa team. Iowa 4-5 overall, 64 in the ITA. And Iowa's looking for their first win in over 2 matches now, coming off 4-3 loss to DePaul and a 4-love loss to Iowa State. Now, spending a minute to talk about Iowa State. Iowa State, this crazy standout breakout season so far for Iowa State, led by perhaps one of the best coach names, Boomer Saya, assistant coach Kilgo, Hannah Kilgo. Iowa State team making a huge run to the semifinals of the ITA Indoor Nationals this spring. So that was not a bad loss, although it was 4-love. Iowa did drop its last contest with Iowa State. Meanwhile, Minnesota coming off a 4-1 loss to Memphis and a 4-love loss to Wisconsin. So both of these teams looking to grab a win. Now again, we don't have a live score for you, but I will be that live score. Court 3. It's now 4-all with Sarioglin and Mayra. So keep our eye on these other courts because, again, Minnesota just fighting. The number 1 spot, Marissa Schmidt from Iowa, did win the first set 7-5. She's down 1-love in the second. Meanwhile, Samantha Mannix from Iowa up 6-2, 3-all. The number 2 singles court. And you know what, Richard? Let's go to court 2. Court 2. Full screen court 2 for Iowa, Minnesota here. Because you know what? All of a sudden, we do have some singles matches with this Iowa team only needing 1. Again, Iowa is up a set in 3-1 in court 4 as well. So we will keep an eye on the scoreboard. Again, this is Zoe Wheel taking on Samantha Mannix. Wheel from Minnesota, Mannix from Iowa. Mannix up 6-2, 3-all. Second set. So we have players who are in the lead on 3 of these 4 singles courts for the Hawkeyes. Again, the Hawkeyes having a clear path here to 4. They just need 1 more. But again, with the way this Minnesota team is fighting, as a coach, I mean, you'd love to see it. You would say that head coach Katrina Thompson for Minnesota has to be very proud of her team with this battle. The way that this team has battled this season. I mean, again, they're 5-6 overall. That is not bad. If you have at least 2 players that can't play in your lineup. And also shout out to Coach Thompson for resting those players. Very important for coaches to take care of their players at all points in the season, but especially when we're early in the season like this. Again, just starting Big Ten play. And wow, Zoe Wheel takes the 4-3 lead in the second set. This Minnesota team will not go away. All right, you know what? Richard, let's hop down to court 4, where Diane Hayashida up 6-4, 3-2 against Minnesota. Again, this is the all-freshman battle. Hayashida, a freshman from Peru. Iva Schmitz, freshman from Germany. Hayashida is up 6-4, 3-2. The players are getting right back on court now. Again, it's becoming a little complicated for this Iowa team. Again, Iowa takes the first set on court 1, court 2, and court 4. But can they get the second? They just need 1 second set. And of course, we have Big Ten tennis for you here. But if you want to see ACC tennis, head over to ACC Plus, ESPN Plus. Check out the king of college tennis, Alex Gruskin, on the call. He is calling those matches right now, as we'll have Big Ten tennis for you right here, as long as this match lasts. Today on the CrossCourt cast for Cracked Racquets. Again, this is Peri Sheinin, joined by producer Richard Mai, who I will call a super producer who's doing an excellent job here. And again, I always love to talk college tennis. I could talk college tennis all day. If you want to talk college tennis as well, you can hit me up on Twitter at WHSVPerry. Those are the call letters for my station. I'm a full-time sports broadcaster as well. Again, that's at WHSVPerry on Twitter. Questions, complaints, or you just want to talk? And of course, if you want to join the overall college tennis conversation, Cracked Racquets on Twitter. Cracked Racquets has a number of wonderful podcasts that you should check out as well. And I also have a podcast on women's college tennis called On the Rise with our dear friends over at Tennis Channel. And again, score update for you. Hayashida from Iowa up 3-2 in the second set, but Iva Schmitz battling back, staying in this game, putting pressure on Hayashida. And scoreboard watching goes both ways, right? So we could think that the Iowa team is scoreboard watching, saying, all right, I only need 1 more on the board, whereas Minnesota, sometimes it's easier to play when you're down, easier to play when you're an underdog. And speaking of underdogs, question in the chat, who would you say is the biggest underdog in the Big Ten this year? That is a wonderful question. Well, you know what? I would say Minnesota right now, right? Because Minnesota has been battling with these teams that are tough outs. Minnesota also a tough out, again, with a very undermanned team right now. I would say if Minnesota can get healthy in time for the peak of conference play, I mean, they're going to be a tough out. Perhaps against most teams except maybe a Michigan and Ohio State, where we've seen these two teams just take off this year. Again, both top 5 in the country, Michigan and Ohio State. Now let's see if this underdog Minnesota team can keep on hanging in. Again, we're almost 2 hours into the match. Minnesota still out there, still fighting. Which it seems like it brings up a deuce point here on court 4 between the freshmen. These freshmen have been duking it out. A lot of deuce points today. Wow, Hayashida. Can the freshman put 4 on the Iowa board to clinch this match? Hayashida up 4-2 now in the second set. Scoreboard check-in from the other matches. Annette Koskell, Marissa Schmidt. Koskell from Minnesota drops the first set 7-5, but it's 1-all in the second. Meanwhile, Zoe Wheel from Minnesota also dropping the first set 6-2 to Samantha Mannix, but it's 4-all in the second. And you know what, Richard? If we can, really quickly, let's see if we can jump over to court 3. Because it seems like Sari Oglin only 1 game away from putting one on the Minnesota scoreboard. Again, these Golden Gophers just fighting. And we have a deuce point here on 3. Deuce point, match point. Oh, that's a ripper. Golden Gophers get on the board. 3-1 now for the Hawkeyes, but the Golden Gophers have not gone away. All right, Richard, let's go right back to court 4. Again, Diana Hayashida working her way in this match, working her way to the end. The freshman on freshman battle. Schmitz, Hayashida. Hayashida now up 4-2 in the second set after taking the first 6-4. And again, Iowa only needs 1 more to clinch this match. Schmitz serving closest to your screen. And Hayashida, she will look to go up 5-2 in the second set. Meanwhile, in court 1, Marissa Schmidt from Iowa takes an early 2-1 lead over Annette Koskell after a tight 7-5 win in the first set. Samantha Mannix, Zoe Wheel checking in with court 2. Mannix from Iowa up 6-2, but down 5-4 to Wheel in the second. So Hayashida takes the 5-2 lead, up 6-4, 5-2, 1 game away from clinching this match for the Hawkeyes. You know what, Richard? Let's hop to court 2 during the changeover. Court 2 here, Iowa, Minnesota. as we see Zoe Wheel now, looking to split sets with Samantha Mannix. Let's see, these ladies are just returning to play. Again, Minnesota having a never say die attitude. Led by head coach Katrina Thompson, the 3-time All-American at Notre Dame herself. In Iowa, led by head coach Sasha Schmid in her 7th season at the helm. Also an alum of college tennis, playing for Iowa from 1992 to 1996. All right, and you know what, Richard? Seems like the players on 4 are back. So let's hop on over to 4, see if Diane Hayashida can take the Hawkeyes to victory. Hayashida just 3 points away. Again, the freshman battle. The fact that this comes down to a freshman battle. A lot of pressure on these young players. It's a ripper. All right. We're tied at 15 now, 15 all. Again, Hayashida 3 points away. Can Iva Schmitz just keep this match going a little longer? And another message in the chat. Will Minnesota be able to be competitive throughout Big Ten play with their shortage of players? Right now, short answer, no. I say it's going to be tough because this is a very competitive match, but if you're dropping 3 matches, number 3 doubles and 5 and 6 singles, by forfeit, that's tough. Again, there are only 9 matches in a college tennis match. You drop 3 out of 9, that's tough. But if Minnesota can get healthy, could they be the comeback team of the year? Maybe, because their players that are healthy are battling. And again, Hayashida now. Up 30-15 in this game. 2 points away. Match point now. Match point for the Hawkeyes. Diane Hayashida. There we go. Iowa takes the 4-1 win over Minnesota. Diane Hayashida, the freshman from Iowa, with the clinch. Wow. And Iva Schmitz should be proud too of the battle that she brought here for the number 4 single spot. Again, Minnesota, unbelievable battle. Minnesota unable to have a 5 and a 6 player today. Unfortunately, not enough healthy players on their team. Also had to forfeit the number 3 doubles match against Iowa. But Iowa, again, taking care of business. Iowa taking the win 4-1. Well, those are the only 2 singles matches that we have today for you. The only 2 college tennis matches that we have today for you in the Big Ten. And so now it's time to say goodbye. Crazy enough, it's time to say goodbye. But before we do, first of all, if you want to see ACC tennis, cannot emphasize enough, the king of college tennis has all of that for you today, right now, on ACC Plus, ESPN Plus. That's Alex Gruskin, walking dictionary of college tennis, as we like to call him. But going back to these 2 matches, Northwestern today taking a 4-2 win over Indiana. And of course, Iowa taking a 4-1 win over Minnesota. Minnesota, a team that was sadly undermanned, but you know what? They battled hard. If those players can get healthy, they're a contender. They're always a contender when they step out there. So Minnesota head coach should be proud. Iowa head coach should be proud. Really, all of these coaches, great battles out there today, and especially head coach Claire Pollard, Northwestern, the Wildcats taking a 4-2 win over Indiana, a match that could have been much closer than it was on paper. Well, thank you for joining us here on the CrossCourt Cast. Again, this is Peri Sheinin, joined by super producer, a new super producer, Richard Mai. It's been a pleasure. We love college tennis. Of course, we will be back on Fridays with ACC coverage. I will have that for you along with Richard, and every Sunday will be Big Ten tennis coverage here on the CrossCourt Cast at Cracked Racquets. Well, thank you for joining us. I look forward to seeing you all next time. And again, if you want to join the conversation, do so on Twitter at WHSVPerry for me, and at Cracked Racquets, of course, for the kings of college tennis. But tagging out now, this is Peri Sheinin for Cracked Racquets. Thank you for joining us.